Hello, listener. My name is Dr. Thais Speaks. I'm your life strategist and the Common Sensei. This is the Common Sensei Show. A friend and I were sitting inside a Starbucks where in this particular store, there are a lot of chairs and small tables. At the time, there were exactly 7 customers who were seated, and we were all spaced out throughout the store. To give you an idea, there was so much room for people to sit that there could have literally been 12 more customers to come in and have a seat, and no one would have been sitting right next to each other. So as my friend and I are talking, this homeless guy walks past all the empty seats and tables, and sits at the small table directly in front of us, pulls out a bunch of change from his pocket, spreads it on the table, and begins to count. I mean, he has a bunch of pennies, nickels, dimes, maybe a quarter. It was at least $1 in change, at the least. And my first thought was, oh, I'm going to buy him a drink. And I promise you, as soon as I said drink, my spirit was like, nope. I have learned through years of experience, when the spirit tells you something, you better listen. Then what happens is the spirit gives you an entire, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's a feeling and a visual at the same time, but it all happens super fast, kind of like the things you see in movies when someone is thinking about a series of events or their life is flashing in front of them. But with me, the images go by very fast and there's a feeling that comes with it too, like a good feeling or a not so good feeling. Anyway, I just stopped in the tracks of my thought as soon as I heard, nope. That was my spirit. So I sit back and I watch him. And a few moments later, the gentleman looks up and mumbles something. I asked him to repeat it because I just couldn't hear him. And he asked, could you ladies spare me some money to get a drink? And as soon as I heard him speak, I was now in full knowledge of what was going on. So I told him, if you were really thirsty and you had $1 in change, you'd go to Wendy's next door or the convenience store across the street, both of which sell drinks that are well within your budget. But Starbucks is too pricey to spot you extra cash. So he said, okay, swiped up his change and left. Now, as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking, how many of us out there want something above our means, whatever that is, and we ask other people to extend their resources to help us out, just so we can keep up with the Joneses or have better than what we can afford on our own, whether it's to show off or whether we are just so used to bumming off other people. Or perhaps we just have no real clue how to budget and save and live within our means. My common sense thinking says, if you want something to drink and you only have $1 in change, why would you choose to go to Starbucks to ask someone to pay the additional $4 for a $5 cup of coffee when you could take that same dollar and go to a more reasonably priced place to get coffee without having to ask anybody for help? Even if the dollar didn't quite cover it because there's, let's say, 8 more cents in tax, the chances are much higher of someone giving you 8 cents than they are of giving you $4. Heck, the cashier may even cover your 8-cent tax. I cannot believe that someone would rather ask someone else for $4 to meet their $1 than to ask for 8 cents. For what? To walk around homeless with a Starbucks cup? Are you kidding me? You know what my real advice is? Since perhaps he wants to be seen drinking coffee from a Starbucks cup, let's be honest, the shame scale is probably very low for a homeless person. So let me help out with some really good advice on a cup of coffee. Procure a Starbucks cup, whether it's used or new, it doesn't make a difference. But the end result is that you get an empty Starbucks cup. take that cup to the gas station and get a refill. You know what? The gas station will discount his cup of coffee because he brought in his own cup. So not only does this man have a Starbucks cup, he gets coffee from the gas station, and instead of charging $1 for coffee, they charge 79 cents for a refill. So no, I'm not about to treat a homeless guy to a Starbucks coffee because he didn't listen to the Common Sensei podcast show, shameless plug, and discover ways to think creatively. No, but really. And you know what the sad part of all of this is? Before I get too deep in this. Okay, let me bring my voice down. Before I get too deep in this, let me tell you that this podcast is sponsored by the letter C for coffee and sponsored by my Facebook page. Go visit me at facebook.com/Dr. Thais and make sure you like my page and get your notifications. Okay, you know what? Forget the homeless guy. Oh, wait. I should be politically correct and not call him homeless. He's residentially flexible. Anyway, so moving on from the residentially flexible guy to people that you and I know who have the same sad mindset. Let's take the example of what this guy was doing, you know, the residentially flexible guy, and apply it to what other people do. Not you, though. I'm talking about those other people you know. Let's say someone saved enough money to put down on a car. Let's say this person saved $2,000. They go car shopping and narrow down their options to 2 cars. One is a beautiful Honda where monthly payments would be $500. And the other option is a beautiful BMW where payments would be $900. Now, keep in mind, this person only has $2,000 to put down. So, I mean, personally, I already know what car they should get. But for the sake of this example, they opt to purchase the BMW. And for the first 4 months, they are doing just fine with making the payments until they realize that every bit of their earnings is going toward the monthly payments of this BMW. Let's say 5 months in, something happens with their finances. I don't know, it could be anything. They were eating out too much. They enjoyed fine dining and drinks every now and then. They had to pay on something they didn't expect. They helped a family member with some moving costs. Any number of things could have happened. And now, because of this financial quandary, they only have $700 to pay on their car every month, which, by the way, costs $900. So those BMW payments are super short by $200. Now, guess what? You've just turned into one of those family members who are asking people to spot you $200 to help pay your car note. Trust me, I know. I have some of those in my family tree too. When, let's see, if they had chosen the $500 monthly payment on that beautiful Honda and given the same circumstances, they would have $400 left over, or $300 if they didn't have to be on such a budget. And given the same circumstances of helping family members out financially or whatever they're doing with their money, they would be in the black. That's financial terminology for being on the positive end, having extra money, big ballin' by $200 to $300 instead of being in the red. That's financial terminology for being on the negative side of money, where you don't have any money. No money. As a matter of fact, you owe money. And you, my friend, are nowhere near big ballin', and you need to look for another job. Well, not you, but you know. The point is, if you think you can afford something, I mean, if you are coming close to just being able to afford it, then you need to step down a level or two, because you know what? You're not factoring in? You're not factoring in the real cost that it takes to be who you are trying to be, but can't afford to be. You are just looking at a $400 difference in monthly payments, but you didn't factor in you can't go down the street to get those $39.99 oil changes. No, your oil change costs minimum $90. The oil costs more, the tires cost more. I don't know, maybe you have to get a higher grade of gas, etc., etc. You should look at the full cost of being a luxury car owner before making those type of decisions. Okay, this is not just about cars and coffee, right? It's the name brand clothes, the expensive shoes, the Jordans, the red bottoms, the gotta have this and can't be seen without that. But you're asking someone else to put money on what your needs are, or shall I say wants, because you keep coming short. Let's make a commitment to do better with the money we earn, and don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses or being seen drinking out of a Starbucks cup. Handle your financial business and think it out thoroughly. Write it all out, everything you want, everything you need, and see if you can actually afford it. I'm done. I'm winded. If you know someone who is curious about breakthrough strategies on how to live a better life, perhaps making thorough decisions when it comes to spending money, apply business sense to everyday living, and increase their common sense to make it common again, use 7 seconds right now to help spread the word on your social media sites. Find the share button, email it, just spread the message and tell your friends. This show is titled Crafty Homeless People. They're just like us. You know what else? I would really appreciate a positive review from you on iTunes or whatever platform you're listening to the Common Sensei show on. True Experience by Thais Wilson and Music Bed Magic by Keith Griffin of Ashy Breeze Music. Enjoy your journey in life. Live, love, and laugh. I'm Dr. Thais Speaks, and you can find me online at drthais.com. That's drthais.com. Thank you for listening and caring enough to share. Quandary. It's shorter. Quandary. It flows better. Quandary. Residentially flexible. Residentially flexible. I think I gave my personal Facebook page instead of my public Facebook page.